What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And today is a special day
Ooh.
with the language of bromance.
It is a super special day, Richard, because we got to speak the language of bromance on a stage. You know, Richard,
people.
Yeah,
and only half of them left.
Yeah, years ago, Richard, we got to do these things called cons, and we got invited to one. I don't know how we did, but we got invited to one.
I slipped the guy at the door at 20.
Yeah, we're like, hey, can we have a table? He's like, well, there's one in the bathroom. We're like, we'll take it.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, it's $20 to get in, and so I slipped it discreetly, and he's like, you didn't have to do that. And then he handed me a ticket, and I said, it's okay, I'll keep this between us. And he said, no, you literally put it around your neck.
Yeah.
And I said, wink, around my neck, I get it. And then I walked in.
Yeah, and then when you put it around, like you hit it, somebody kicked you out, and so then you had to talk to that guy again.
Yeah, and he's like, why didn't you put it around your neck?
He's like,
I was like, I thought we had an agreement, a gentleman's agreement.
He's like, no, we had a commerce agreement. But Richard, on April 23rd and 24th of 2021, we got to go to the Big River ComiCon in America's hometown, Hannibal, Missouri.
It was.
It was great, Richard. It was the first time we've got to see each other face to face in a while since I helped you move.
It'd been 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months since we saw each other in person, and really a year since we got to actually hang out.
Yeah, it was a blast. We got to do the whole weekend, 2 full days. And like I said, they got to let us do some panels. And on day one, Richard, we won't go into too much of who they are because that's what we're going to give you today. We're going to give you the recordings from the day one, and next episode will be day 2 of the panels. But Richard, on the first day, who were our big guests that we had on this panel?
So I don't know if anybody had ever heard of a little show called Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Number 1 in the hood, G.
Oh, see, he knows the song, guys. That means he knows the show. But there was a guest there who I feel like he was the protagonist of the show.
Yeah.
I feel like he was definitely, like with a lot of comedy shows, you have that whole straight man, crazy man dynamic, like Abbott and Costello or whatever. I don't feel like it was that. I feel like there was one normal guy and then 2 fucking weirdos, okay? But we got to talk to the normal guy. The normal guy was Carey, who voiced Frylock in Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah, he shared some stories. He shared some tales from cons. Really great. This was our first actual big panel we've done where we've interviewed people, so I think you kind of see us stumble a little bit. It was
very much so, because I was very, very nervous.
Yeah, I wasn't too nervous. I've had a long couple weeks, so I felt like I struggled to get through some of the stuff. Because it was, the next guest. Well, I'll let you know who the next guest is. And I feel like if this was the first guest, I might have felt like I kind of got my feet wet a little bit better. Although Carey Means did a great job.
Oh, fantastic!
And the other thing,
he was definitely able to. Definitely held my interest, captivated my interest, captivated the audience's interest. As nervous as I was, I'll go ahead and say it. The guy did a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh, for sure. And that's kind of that's what they want. They don't want us to talk. And we only had 2 mics.
We don't want us to talk.
Yeah. And we only had 2 mics. That's something we want to work on next year to make sure we have enough for all of us. But that's something that was kind of difficult. But the next guest that we had on this day one was somebody who we've done a podcast with before, Richard. All the way from Red Bank, New Jersey, the comic book man himself. We had Mr. Ming Chen on.
Now, that was a fun time. I felt, honestly, I think all told, the talk we had with Ming went about 30 minute. I think we, easily could have done 4 hours.
Oh, 100%.
I think that people would have been frowned upon it. And I think Ming would have been like, guys, they need to go sit at the table and make some fucking money. And we're like, but wait, so you were on the show?
So I discreetly slid him $10. He's like, listen, I make more than that on selfies. Yeah. I'm like, no. Here's an extra $1.
Yeah. And then he's like, what is this for? And you're like, so we could get in here. And then you're like, you're already in here.
And he's like, why are we doing this panel in the bathroom? Are you guys even supposed to be doing the panels? But yeah, we actually, what was cool too is the whole weekend, you got to spend 3 nights with him. I only got to spend 1 night with him.
Oh my God.
But getting to hang out with Ming Chen during and after the con was so much fun.
So, oh my Jesus. Okay. So, let's see. I'm trying to think like story wise how that would go. So night one was actually fairly tame. It was me and Ming, and my wife came along came later. My wife showed up and came later, and the lady who runs the con, her name's Deb Logue. Amazing woman. Like she's an amazing woman. But her son had flown in from Denver, Colorado. His name's Jesse. So Jesse flew in from Denver, Colorado to come help his mom out. And one of the jobs that Deb gave her doting son, Jesse, was to keep an eye on Ming, make sure he has a good time. And so for all 3 nights, like I said, night 1, it was me and Jesse and Ming and my wife, and it was just the 4 of us. Had a really fun time. Hung out at a bar. Ming ordered pizza, like pretty much for the bar. He just like orders 5 pizzas, like while we're sitting there hanging out. I bought him drinks. He bought me drinks. There were a lot of drinks. I think we drank for a good 6 hours that night straight.
Yeah.
So I was a little rough the next morning for panels. I think that's probably reflected in the talk too. Shawn, you were there for night 2.
I mean, it's a night 2.
And I kind of watched you. You paced yourself very well. I didn't know if that was intentional or
It very much was. I think like if we do this next year, we need to kind of maybe look at getting a room in Hannibal. Because I knew I had to go back home. I had my kiddo to take care of. It fell on my son's birthday weekend too.
Yeah.
And like I said, we had a bunch of stuff kind of come up that week that really kind of dampened the mood on wanting to have a fun time. So, but everybody there, you, Ming, kind of helped me kind of get over whatever was going on with me. So I had a blast. So I thought it was fun that second night.
And honestly, the second night went pretty much as the first night, and the same with the third night. So started off with a little drinking. I will say that on the third night, if you've ever seen Ming Chen sing "I Want It That Way" by the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, I wish I would have been there for karaoke.
I know, right? It was a good time. And then by his request, we finished the night at the lovely bikini bar known as Old Milt's.
Yep, it's a classy establishment.
It is. It's whew.
That's a tale for another time.
By the time this weekend was over, I felt like I needed to go to a meeting. That's how I felt.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Richard. Hi, Richard. I've been to Old Milt's 3 nights in a row.
Oof.
This is the wrong meeting for that.
Yep. So that was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Went out, had a good time. It was fun. It was fun. Time. But and you get to like night 3 and you're like, man, I don't know if I could do this again. But then you say to yourself, like, when are you gonna do this?
Yeah.
Like don't poo poo. Don't be a no guy.
Yeah, I mean it's like, especially after like the last year and a half, like how like it's kind of making up for lost time. And like nobody really got too crazy drunk. Like we weren't hanging out like with the bathroom holding back somebody's hair.
Well, and I think Ming's kind of said the same thing, like this had been the first con he had been to in a year.
Yeah, in 14 months.
14 months. So 14 months of not being able to go to a con. And I heard him, he was talking and he said, he's like, after 14 months, I was kind of, after COVID and everything else, he's like, I was really worried about what the con scene was going to be like at this point. Like, he's like, I was worried about, how things were going to go. He's like, I'm not worried anymore.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
I think he had a good time. I hope to see him next year. Maybe next time I can see Ming in one chair. I can see Mike Zapsik in another chair.
I'd be pumped
down
for
at
it.
Old Milts at the Bikini Bar.
But yeah, I'm excited to share these panels. So first we're going to have up Carey Means. Like both these guys are about 30 minutes apiece. So we got Carey Means up first. And then right after we jump right into Ming Chen. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our panels at the 2021 Big River ComiCon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are we feeling today? I expected more.
He's gonna bring you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, go over there. At this time, we'd like to turn the microphone over to the Language of Bromance panel. After you. Make some noise out there. Come on, guys. Let them know that you're here. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? Happy Comic-Con! All right, so we're about ready to kick off our panel here. I'm going to trade it over to my buddy Richard here to announce who we're bringing up on stage. So, Richard, I'll give you the honor.
Aw, thanks. He's so sweet. Isn't he the sweetest? No? Okay, that's fine. Anyway, so, for our very first celebrity guest, you guys know him as the voice of
Frylock.
Thank you, Shawn. This is the voice. See, I thought we could do it together, maybe. Anyway, voice of Frylock from Aqua and Hunger Force. He's a wonderful human being. Please, everybody, put your hands together for Carey Means. Very shortly, but in the meantime, you can stop clapping. It's okay. You did good. I was proud of you. Thanks. So, here's the thing that I like the most about Carey is I listened to obviously watched every single episode of Aqua Teen. Did you?
Yeah.
Every single one?
Well,
I don't believe you.
so you gotta share the mic. We only got one.
Sorry.
So I know back in the day, Rich and I used to work in a little shop called Krieger's Sports Bar. I don't know if anybody remembers that from probably a decade plus ago.
No one does.
But Aqua Teen Hunger Force was something that we would watch at night when we're closing up the bar. So we'd sit there and drink, watch the show. We also watched a ton of Kevin Smith movies, which were a blast.
Yes.
And other fun stuff.
It's like everything was made for. It's like all the gifts were made for us, tailor made. You know what it's like? Like a Happy Meal. You know what's in a Happy Meal? Come on.
Fries.
You got it. I knew it. See, this is why I do a podcast with you. But anyway, here's the thing that I like, and here's the thing that I kind of want to try and squeeze out is there are not only obviously amazing talented voice actor, but also he's been to so many conventions, around the globe, and the thing that I want to squeeze out of him are those really funny, cool con stories. And maybe, hopefully, he can help give all of you guys maybe the unspoken rules of going to a comic convention. Everybody here who here is, by show of applause, who is this your first ever convention anywhere ever in the history of ever? Anybody? A couple, okay. So all you guys are obviously know all the unspoken rules, all the little ins and outs, all the little cool secrets, all the everything else, right? No, yeah, okay. Well, regardless, I feel like you're gonna get some cool stories. The story that I definitely want to ask about, and if anybody, obviously you guys can come up and ask questions, and we 100% encourage it. But ask about Dog the Bounty Hunter, because I've heard a story involving Dog the Bounty Hunter. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Yeah.
So Richard and I have been to a few Comic Cons together. There's a couple, none as great as this one, obviously, in our backyard. But I hope everybody's enjoying their time here, getting to see everything, all the cool stuff. Richard, what's been the coolest thing you've seen so far?
I like Deadpool. I know that's Spider-Man. I know
That's Spider-Man. So I know they look alike, but Deadpool. Where's Deadpool? He's pooping. That's what that means.
No, you don't know that. Yeah, you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. Richard. Don't put words in his mouth. Don't put words.
But what I was saying is,
yeah, see.
that's not the bathroom.
It is now.
Awkward. But like I said, same universe, Marvel, but that's Spider-Man.
Anyway, I like DJ Deadpool. I mean, DJ Spider-Man, you're good. You're good. You're a solid 8. No, I'm kidding. You're kidding. You're a 10. You're a 10. I love you.
You got the names wrong.
I know I got the names wrong. This guy.
She always shoots webs.
I heard he shoots webs. Yes. Yeah.
Wait, you want me to?
Yes. I knew it. Spider-Man. Anyway. It does. Okay, go for it. You know what? I am 100% more impressed than I thought I would be. You can pick it up. Oh, look. Here, give yourself a beard. And be the best. Anyway. Oh. It is. It's a web. It's supposed to be sticky. Insert a joke here, but don't.
So, favorite thing from Comic Con.
Okay. Here, you.
So,
Give me your favorite thing.
I think my favorite thing would probably have to be all the different cosplays you see. So we've got numerous Batmans here. We've got an awesome Joker standing off here to the side. All the work that goes into creating these cosplays is just amazing. I mean, late nights, I've heard a lot of people that have different cosplays will actually have like numerous ones that they're waiting to get finished, and then they jump right onto another one. It's kind of like what we do with podcasting, right? In a sense, where it's like, hey, let's do another podcast. We always go like the tried and true.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I'm trying to think what else. I mean, all the different rare comics you get to see, all the cool toys. There's a bunch of Pop Funkos here. If you look over here, I saw a really cool Captain Spaulding.
Old
video games. There's a ton of old video games over here as well.
And not
just like, old video games. It's like, oh, it's a disc. Oh, this is from a PlayStation 3. No, I'm talking old school. Get the cartridge, blow in the cartridge, put it in your NES kind of game. That's gaming, my friend, if you don't know, which you don't. Yeah, I knew it.
I did find there's an old TMNT video game over here that I've got my eye on. So I've gone through this nostalgia phase recently, and I think places like this really kind of hit home for that. Because, I mean, you see all the stuff from your childhood, all the stuff that you're looking at now. And I recently went on this craze. I used to be a big baseball fan, still am, but I was looking for all the old baseball games I used to play. And I recently got my regular Nintendo game for baseball, but seeing that TMNT one that I spent countless hours in my room playing, never, except once. So once I was able to get past that dam.
The dam?
The dam.
Okay, so
For people that don't know, what it is you swim underneath this dam and you're disarming bombs, and it is the most maddening thing that any human has ever experienced in the history of ever. No. The best thing about old school Nintendo games is they were unforgiving, completely unforgiving. You died a lot, and Legend of Zelda Part 2, Adventures of Link. When you died at the end, the game laughed at you. There was a guy, it was Ganon, at the end, he was pointing at you and laughing, saying game over. No. Do you know what that does to like a 7-year-old psyche? It does this. This is what happens. This is the result of that. And I think we're all just sadder for it as a society. Just a bit, a smidge. Shawn, how many cons have you been to?
Let's see, I've probably been to at least a half dozen.
wow.
Yeah, we've been on, 2 panels, I believe, before?
Yeah.
We've actually hosted one ourselves. We did a live podcast, which you can find in our archive. So if anybody listens to podcasts, go out to languagebromance.com. You can find all the information there, but it's also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you find your podcast, you'll be able to find our show. The next question that we usually get asked is, what's a podcast? And our second guest tonight, Ming Chen, will probably be able to tell you a lot about what podcasts are. They're internet radio, essentially.
It's
internet talk radio.
Yeah, internet pirate radio. That's what it is. It's internet pirate radio. You gotta say pirate so it sounds cool. That's why people are like, who are these two idiots talking on stage? Yeah, we're pirates. That's what we are. That's what happened. We just pirated this microphone.
Well, and we always
It's supposed to be here.
yeah, it's supposed to be, we're like punk rock, punk radio, punk rock radio.
What did I say to you earlier? I said punk rock is the thing that you say when you just have no idea what's going on, or punk rock is what you say when you have no discernible excuse.
Like right now.
It's like, oh, yeah, exactly. You just go, oh, we're doing it. It's punk rock. Yeah.
So Richard, while we're waiting a little bit longer for Carey, what's one of your favorite podcast episodes that we've done?
Oh God. I guess off the top of my head, we did an hour plus long not retrospective, but we did an hour long talk about the Great Emu War in Australia, where a group of giant birds fought against the army of Australia, and the birds won. So really, if you think about it, Australia should be run by giant birds, by the right of conquest.
So I never thought about it till this point. Do you think that's why it's so dangerous in Australia? Because
That's why everything in Australia is designed to kill you.
Because all the animals are like, oh my god, these emus obviously can take care of these Australians, so why can't we rule this continent as well, this country? Did you know that Australia is the only continent that is also a country?
It was that look you gave me when you said that. You were like, oh, actually. You're the worst. You're the worst.
I do my best.
I knew it.
Let's see.
Do you have a favorite episode of Aqua Teen?
My favorite episode of Aqua Teen is the one I think that we reference the most.
Which is?
First!
First lobster! The mummy. The mummy. Yeah. Yeah, the mummy that they erased from the...
That they end up just putting out because there really was no curse. Spoiler alert.
He threatens everybody with a curse if they don't do what he wants. I like all the smaller cosplayers. That's my favorite because it's I don't know. I think it's cool to see people, that it's cool to see little kids that like are so in love with something. Oh, that's a good point. We are terrible at this. Shawn, tell them about the table since you're the one that brought it.
So Richard and I, we're really good at talking just to each other. That's what a podcast essentially is. So we've got our table set up here, and Richard's lovely wife is helping us here. We've got a raffle that we're going to give away. Some cool stuff, and there's a signed book from the Console Wars book. It's recently been a show on CBS. And then we also have a book signed by John. You can find his table just around the corner. But as we're doing this, we're letting people kind of walk by. We always feel really bad about bothering people. People walk by, and we're not really good salesmen.
Not at all. Not at all. We walk up and we go, hey, no, you seem busy. Never mind.
Can we give you money? Sorry, we bothered you. We'll just give you $5. But if you get the opportunity, go ahead and stop by. If you sign up with your email, you get entered, but there's also a couple other options. If you follow us on Apple Podcast or any of our social media, you'll get an extra option there as well. So just take a nice opportunity to win a few things for free. We also have some stickers and business cards, so go ahead and check those out. And if you take a sticker, just go ahead and plaster it all over Hannibal, Missouri. We'd love to see that somewhere cool.
Yeah. I mean, in a completely legal format. Because otherwise it's graffiti? Is it graffiti or is it littering?
I've always wondered that. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm gonna put this right here and shout our name, that might be illegal, so I'm not gonna do that. But without further ado, we'd like to welcome our guest, Mr. Carey Means. Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Pleasure to meet you, sir. We can elbow bump. There we go. Got it.
I heard my name.
No, you're
I was
good.
like, what are they talking about me over there? So do we only have one mic, or do I just...
We do only have the one, so I'm just gonna hand it up. I feel like I should just hand it up to you and then just talk really loud because I'm fine with that. But
Yes,
so
you should do that.
so here's the thing: is
Well, here, you just take it now. So here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
I know.
The thing is,
The thing is.
this is the Frylock panel.
Yeah.
Hey, Master Roshi. What's going on, you perv? That's the only character when I went to see the Dragon Ball Z movie, the attempt at the Dragon Ball Z movie. The only thing that kept me from walking out of the theater was, oh boy, that played Master Roshi. What's his name? Chow Yun-Fat?
Yeah.
Chow Yun-Fat played Master Roshi to a T, and that kept me in the theater. But I did walk out of South 3, but that's another story. Anyway, what were we talking about?
No, what I was saying was that like you've been to so many cons. You've been to a bunch, like, right?
Are you talking about me or the cup?
I'm talking about you.
I'm talking about Dana Snyder.
You've been to cons.
I've been to some. You been stalking me?
You were the Johnny Cash.
You been stalking me?
You've been.
He's been stalking me, ladies and gentlemen.
So what I want to hear is I've heard a bunch of different cool stories involving you at different cons.
What have you heard?
I have heard there's specifically one about you
Yeah.
and Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, you heard that, huh?
I did hear that.
Where'd you hear that?
I listened to
From a semi-reliable source.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the story.
I heard it from your own lips.
All
That's what I
about
heard.
how my life as Frylock got turned around. I went to a ComiCon in Colorado Springs, and Mr. and Mrs. Dog were in there doing the dog thing. I just made that up. But it's true. They were. I was at a con with the Revenge of the Nerd cast, at least 90% of them. Carey was there, Curtis, Armstrong Booger.
Oh yeah.
I asked him in the bathroom, yes. When I run into celebrities in the bathroom, we sword fight. No, just kidding. I asked him what came first, the booger or the snot? Because, he's snot on American Dad.
Yeah.
And he was booger in Revenge of the Nerds. I think I kind of caught him by surprise. He kind of looked at me like, nobody's ever asked me that before. What came first, the booger? Of course, the booger came before the snot, but the snot forms the booger. So anyway, enough about boogers. I'm sounding like Meatwad over here. So yeah, there was this con in Colorado Springs, Colorado, obviously, and it was really weird because when I was getting ready to go to the show, and I was outside, and there was this deer in the parking lot just grazing. I was like, it's Bambi. Bambi, go run, your mother's dead. Go run, Bambi. But anywho,
There's a bunch of people here dressed up as Gaston. Get out of here, go.
I know, right? But it was cool. The deer didn't even run away from me. The deer was kind of like, hey, what's up? I was like, what's up, deer? It's pretty sweet. Anyway, if you ever look at my YouTube channel, I do have a YouTube channel. And shameless self-promotion time. I have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna post I already shot a video with the pig just running around here.
He was here. I saw him.
He smelled like bacon. He smelled delicious. Made me hungry, that's for sure.
Did you try his burnt ends yet?
No, I haven't tried his burnt ends yet. That sounds
Is that
very innuendic.
Yeah.
You try
Is that a thing?
his burnt ends yet. Yes, I may try those burnt ends later.
You gotta pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I knew it.
Yeah, it's not free, dude.
Why buy
God.
the pig when
You gotta pay
get
for it,
for
right?
free?
Are we talking about the same thing? Anyway.
Yes.
So back to the Colorado Springs thing. So we go in there, and Mr. and Mrs. Dog, the bounty hunter, rest in peace, Mrs. Dog. Okay, but I get this story from the security guys.
Oh, okay.
They were at the convention. They were handling security for the whole show, and these guys all look like Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're all like buff, bald head guys, look like Deb's son, Jesse, over there.
Yeah.
They're all built like Jesse. Jesse the body, everybody, back there. Yeah, Jesse.
I went out drinking with Jesse last night.
Uh-oh.
I tried to put him away.
Uh-oh. He drank you under the
I
table,
did.
didn't he?
Woo. No, he drank me under the
That's what I
table.
said. That's all right. That's okay. So anyway, so all these security guys, you know, they were more on it than the local Colorado PD. See, Dog and Mrs. Dog actually lived in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
So all the locals were like, yeah, we see them all the time. Man, no big deal. So they got their big RV, Dog, about 800 RV out in the parking lot, right? So they come to the first day of the show, and Mrs. Dog wanted to come into the show with a taser, humming, on the on position.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Was she like afraid she was gonna get,
Well, I guess she was ready to use it if she needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe she was on the job.
And the security guys were like, Mrs. Dog, I just, with all due respect, I'm not trying to disrespect her by saying Mrs. Dog, but I can't never remember her name. So I just called her Mrs. Dog. So they was like, Mrs. Dog, you can't come in with that taser humming on your hip. She's like, I tell you what, if I can't come in with this taser on my hip, my husband and I are going to pack up all our stuff. And we are leaving. We are not going to participate in this event. So they caved in. They let her come in with the taser on the on position, humming on her hip. I mean, you know, I appreciate the volunteers at shows because they can bring you water when you're thirsty. Some of them even go run and get you food. They brought my wife some super glue today.
Oh, nice.
Because she needed to fix one of her wings that was broken. I probably broke it, but that's another story. So
it involves burn ends, doesn't it?
Yes.
How
did you know?
I knew. Yeah.
Dang it.
Right.
Kismet is kismet, folks. So you know, I mean, so the reason I'm talking about volunteers and how they help out at these events is that the volunteers came up to Mrs. Dog. And let me back up for a second. They had their own cornered off partition.
Okay.
So you see like that black tent over there?
Yeah.
Well, picture that black tent with black curtains all around.
Okay.
Something like that. So in other words, you wasn't about to sneak by and get a selfie.
Yeah.
You wasn't about to sneak by Mr. and Mrs. Dog and get a selfie, so that wouldn't happen. Some celebrities freak out when people try to sneak selfies, or the handlers freak out, you know. Some celebrities are real a-holes, for lack of a better term, and some celebrities have some celebrities have real a-holes for handlers or representation. You know, the people that are handling them can be real a-holes, if you know what I mean.
No, I got you.
But this particular weekend, Mrs. Dog was being the a-hole.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the volunteer comes up to us and says, Mrs. Dog, you want some water? Get away from me. Just asked her if she wanted the water. How was everything? Is everything go good?
Yeah.
Apparently not. Now, we all found out a little while after this convention that we all attended that she had cancer. I'm pretty sure she knew at the time she was at this convention that she had, maybe that's what it was, maybe that was her way of lashing out at the world because she knew she was not long for this world or something. But if it was me, I can't speak for anybody else, but if it was me and I knew I was terminal like that, I'd be like, oh, I love you, oh, everybody come here, give me a hug, I don't know you, but I'm not going to be here much longer and I want to love everybody. You know, not that I'm trying to get into heaven or anything, but you would figure she would try to get in, you know what I'm saying, by being a little nicer to folks. I am digging this Batman here with this staff. What is going on, man? Are you like Gandalf, the black Batman of the North? You are ready to kill Superman with that thing. That's got kryptonite on the end of it. I know what you're up to.
Well,
I know.
To be fair, you haven't seen a Superman walking around.
I know, right? And look, there's another Batman right there co-signing. Yeah, that's right. Dark justice. Justice for Batman.
Check the dumpsters for a Superman guy.
So anywho, so back to Mrs. Dog's story in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now, keep in mind, this con had the Revenge of the Nerds cast.
Right.
So, and it had the bully, the guy who nerds, the guy with the beard. He was there too. Ogre was there. And let me tell you something for a fact. Lamar ain't as soft in real life as he was in that movie. Because Lamar was chasing a few skirts that weekend, if you know what I mean. And I asked the guy that played Toshi, I said, so when they had you on the tricycle doing the thing and you were drinking all those beers, were those real beers? He was like, yep.
Oh, man.
I was like, how many takes did you do? He was like, after the fourth one, man, I kind of lost myself there. I couldn't even tell you. Take 10.
But I mean, he stayed on. So
That was before people were using like near beer in movies, I guess. You know,
That's called performance.
That is
performance.
really sacrificing for your art. So the reason I'm talking about the Revenge of the Nerds cast in relation to my Mrs. Dog story is that my theory is this: Mr. and Mrs. Dog have been to the biker cons and the tattoo cons and the Sons of Anarchy stuff, and maybe a Walker Stalker or something like that, where you got all these Sons of Anarchy types.
Yeah.
Maybe a Trump rally, I don't know. Too soon? Anyway, something like that. They've been to stuff like that before.
Yeah.
But they've never been to a real serious nerdy con where there's a bunch of nerds running around. And from what the security guys were telling me, Mrs. Dog was like elbowing through the crowd. Get out of the way. My husband's coming to talk to bounty hunter. Move out of the way. Get out of the way, you nerds. You know. And just treating people like talking down to them and all kind of stuff. And so it had got to a point where there was a smoking area in the building, you know, because it was like in some old mall or something like that in Colorado. So they had a roof access. So you would go up the little stairs and go outside if you want to smoke a cigarette or whatever. So either Mr. and Mrs. Dog collectively decided, or one of them decided that they wasn't going to make that walk no more up to the smoking area. So they started smoking whatever it was they were smoking right there on the floor of the con in their little cubby hole. So the head of the security guys walks up calmly to Mrs. Dog and says, "Excuse me, Mrs. Dog, but we have rules. You cannot smoke inside the building. We have a designated smoking area." And blah, 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 blah. So she gave him some lip. And he was like, "I'm retired police. I'm retired military special services. And I'm asking you one more time. I'm the head of security, this establishment. Please go to the smoking area." She looked him dead in his face and said, "F you."
Oh no. Oh.
You, everybody know what that means. F you. So he calmly looked at her and said, "Okay." Turned around, walked away. You know what he's going to do? He went to get the Colorado PD.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, compared to the security guys who telling me the story, looked like Barney Fife compared to Jesse the Body back there. You know, the Colorado PD come walking up, and this is, I swear, this is what I heard from the security guys. "Thanks, Spidey. You're my favorite superhero."
I did a thing.
You did a thing.
He's a hero.
He is my favorite superhero. Anyway, me and Spidey go way back.
Whatever.
He gave Zach Galifianakis here an extra mic. That's who you kind of look like, you know.
You know what? I'll take it.
Cross between Chris Farley and Zach. If Chris Farley and Zach Galifianakis had a kid, you're it.
I'll take it.
With a little Jack Black thrown in there. Your hair's not dark enough.
I've heard nothing wrong so far.
It's all good. School of Rock, baby, yeah. So after Mrs. Dog cursed out the head of security, he went and got the Colorado PD. Now this is what I heard from the security guy. She took off running when she saw them coming, like from that back wall back there. Could you imagine Mrs. Dog running through the con in slow-mo? Get out of the way, you nerds.
I'll tell you what, with that
Sending folks flying back and forth.
I'd be afraid you trip and then you accidentally.
So yeah, the story is she tried to run away when she saw the Colorado PD. Maybe she had a bounty out on her.
Say she's a professional. She's gonna know what's gonna happen.
So now, the whole time all this stuff is going on in the room with the smoking and all that, and she's going off and all this. Guess what Mr. Dog was doing? He was like, "Oh, that's a nice, pretty wallpaper back there." That's what was going on. He wasn't saying nothing. Matter of fact, the first night of the con, he was up in the smoking area talking to the security guys. "You guys are great. We're having a great time smoking a cigarette with them." She busts out the door, boom, kicks the door open, right? They're up on the roof smoking. She said, "There better not be any bitches out here."
Oh my.
I'm sorry for the language, I know that's children present.
on a warpath.
Excuse my French. I did used to work for Adult Swim, not Kiddie Swim, so bear with me. I try to keep it PG, trust me. I won't say nothing too dirty. Not till you come to my table. But anywho, so Colorado PD comes, and they just looked them and said, "Yeah, pack your stuff. Y'all out of here."
Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
so,
rightfully so.
This was Saturday. The con we had another day for the con. And you know, right when she passed, they were promoting a new show. They were supposed to have a new show coming out.
Okay.
So that's why they were doing these cons and stuff to promote that. But you know, I just don't understand. If a person doesn't want to be around people, they shouldn't do cons.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And there have been other stories I can tell you about celebrities losing it. When, like, there was this one particular celebrity that worked on the Sons of Anarchy show. And this 11-year-old girl walked by his table and snuck a selfie. I'm not even going to repeat what he said, but it wasn't very nice. He called her a couple of names, came around the table, grabbed her cell phone, threw it at the ground and smashed it.
Man.
This is an 11-year-old girl. And needless to say, he was escorted out after he did that. Now you got to replace this, I'm sure it was like an iPhone or something, possibly whatever it is these kids carry today. You know, we're going to be doing like Futurama after a while. We'll have phones in our eyes. Going another ad. I need to go buy some underwear. So, you know, so they got kicked out. They got kicked out the Colorado Springs ComiCon. And so Dog actually grew up there after they got kicked out. He's like, I'm going back in there. But he's like, Mr. Dog, Dwayne or whatever his name is, like, you can't go back in there. He's like, oh, you going to arrest me? So he went back in there to get his backpack or whatever, and he came back out. And I'm like, oh, now you're getting tough now that you got kicked out of the con. You know, so while your wife was biting everybody's heads off and acting a fool. I don't know, if it was me, this is what I would have done. If my wife acted like that this weekend, I would have just looked at the guy at 50 and be like, look, she's gonna be fine. We're gonna sit her out in the RV. She's gonna sit out there. She's got some edibles out there. She'll be fine. Everything will be good. She'll come back later. Okay? I would have tried to squash the situation because they lost money. You know what I'm saying? They lost money, and they were trying to promote themselves, and it's just embarrassing. And it's embarrassing for anybody to get kicked out of a con. But you know, there's various reasons for it, and that was it. I'm like, when she came to the door with the taser humming, I was like, and I'm like, she did. It was like, yes, she did. I was like, wow, this is juicy stuff.
Oh, here we go.
Every con has a story. I can't wait to see what the one's going to be for this weekend.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It might involve some of you. Master Roshi, I'm looking at you.
I said that. That's true.
But you know, I got other stories. You don't have time to hear them all. So I hope I answered your query.
You did.
The Mr. and Mrs. Dog. And so the moral to the story, kids, is don't be a Mrs. Dog.
That's exactly the moral.
That is the moral.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say.
You never know.
It needs to go on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'd like to have somebody reenact that whole thing and just have somebody cosplay as Mr. and Mrs. Dog. That would be hilarious. I would love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that story. Because
you're welcome.
That's the
Time's up. See you later. Come to the table. Bye.
Yeah. I was gonna see if did anybody have any?
Oh yeah, we can do questions.
Absolutely. I got one in the back.
Yes, sir. Oh, I got him on video already.
Already got him on video.
I got him on video. It's going on social media. Yeah, we can do that. That's cool. Maybe I'll grab his burnt end while we're taking the further. No, funny story about pigs. You know, Mel Blanc is the voice, you know, Mel Blanc, the classic man of 1,000 voices, who voiced Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, all these. He's one of my idols growing up in St. Louis. That's what got me started in wanting to do voiceovers, watching Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and Porky. And then I found out this one guy was doing all these voices, man. I was flabbergasted. I was like, man, I'd love to do something like that someday. Except I sounded like my sister before I hit puberty. And I would answer the phone and go, hello? It's like, hey, baby, what you doing? I was like, I'm not Karen, I'll go get her. And then when they finally dropped and my voice changed, you know, I'd pick up the phone and go, hello. They go, oh, sir, may I speak to your daughter? I said, yeah. Hold on a minute, I'll go get her.
What?
You know.
What dropped? The burnt ends?
Yeah, my burnt ends dropped. See, you're a quick one.
You bring it back around.
You know. But, yeah, so Mel Blanc, we're talking about pigs and stuff like that. They asked Mel Blanc, I said, what's the first voice you ever did? Of course, he started crying like a baby. But no, he went to a pig farm to study how to do Porky Pig. He literally went to a pig farm and waddled around.
Wow.
with the pigs to get Porky down. So he's like, a pig with the stutter.
See, again,
like that. So
performance.
And his first voice was a drunken bull. And then he did Porky next, and it was a while before he started doing Bugs. Because if you remember those old Bugs Bunny charts, that's not him. That's not him doing Bugs. That's another guy, but he took over. And he's also Barney Rubble on the Flintstones for a minute too. Yeah. Let me ask you a question, since we're talking about Barney. Let me ask you, can anybody tell me what Barney did for a living?
Oh wait, you're not talking about the dinosaur.
He worked with Fred one episode, and then he quit. He worked at the Rock Quarry one time. Now, why is Wilma and Betty always running around talking about charge it? Because Barney's pimping Wilma and Betty.
Yeah. Gas station attendant apparently was his job.
I ain't never see Barney Rubble pump no gas.
Gas station, they all drove with their feet.
You're lying. They don't take gas in Flintstones cars.
Gas station.
They use their feet. Hey, let me ask you something else too. What's up? Where's the Jetsons live action movie? Why haven't they made a live action Jet? Danny DeVito has got to play Mr. freaking Spacely. Jetson, you're fired. That would be perfect. Am I lying?
100%.
They get Steve Carell or somebody to play George, just give him a prosthetic nose or something like that. You know, fill in the blanks with the rest of the cast. Rosie the Robot, that's CGI, you know.
Yeah.
Astro too.
Yeah.
All right, George. But seriously though, the closest thing I think we've had to a live action Jetsons movie would be that movie with Clooney, Tomorrowland, when he's flying around in the jetpacks and he's got the AI robot chick he's trying to save or whatever. That's a pretty neat little movie. But I'm serious, we've had 2 Flintstones movies already. 2!
Right.
Not one live action Jetsons? Come on, we got the technology. We have the know-how, we can build it. We can do it.
If they can de-age Kurt Russell, we can get a Jetsons.
Exactly. I was just watching Tron last night, the newer version of Tron, when they de-aged Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool too.
It was good stuff. Carey, I wanted to take a second to say thank you so much for being here. On behalf of everybody here, on behalf of Shawn and I, because I'm a huge Aqua. It's one of the first things that we watch together as bros of the Bromance.
I like it when you put that in air quotes.
Hey.
As bros.
Yeah.
Of the Bromance. Hey, y'all hear about these 2 guys that died in a Tesla car that hit a tree? It was on auto drive. They had just dropped their wives off, but one was in the passenger seat and the other was in the back seat. And the Tesla hit a tree and it caught on fire, and the fire department couldn't put it out because of the battery that it has in it or something. So it's just this molten mass of steel and twisted metal and flesh. These 2 guys. So what were they doing in the Tesla when it crashed? I wonder if it was some Brokeback Mountain stuff going on in that Tesla or what?
Probably recording the podcast.
They were doing a podcast.
And nobody was driving.
That's what we tell
But they hit a tree. And it blew up. And this was 3 hours after Elon Musk had just bragged about the Tesla's auto drive capabilities that same day.
Awkward.
That fateful day where 2 men went in and none came out of the Tesla. Sad stuff, man. Crazy world we live in. Nice ink there. What's with the trees?
It's just kind of the path.
Oh, thank you. So it's just pretty much kind of the path through life is the way I've kind of envisioned it. On this side, you can see the swans for my mom. The double hearts is for my grandma. She always signed her stuff with that. And then these are for my grandpa's, and this is for my dad.
It's where we go in our Tesla.
Yeah. This was my favorite one. This is an old clock my grandma gave me. And the time's her birthday.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have any ink. I do have a fraternity brand on this shoulder though, but I'm scared of needles. I don't think I can do it. If I ever get one, it'll probably be a yin-yang symbol. You know, I live my life by yin-yang. Yin-yang, yin-yang. That's Roche, you know what I'm talking about. Well, if there's any more questions, fire away.
Yeah.
Anybody, somebody.
Oh,
You
one
again.
more.
You almost dressed like Carl over there. You should put on a wife beater. Wait, you got one underneath. See, he got it on. Hey, bro, man, you're throwing all the other stuff there. What's the question, sir? Super birthday snake. Remember that one? Meanwhile, wants a pet. But instead of a bunny rabbit, he gets a shake, make sure that the snake comes. He names him Nathan Scott Phillips. And tries to staple some bunny ears to his head, and the snake doesn't like that very much. Eats meatwad, then eats shake, then Frylock blows him all to hell, and decides to get all pimped out and bring over a couple of, before I put a cigarette on your damn eye. Yes. Of course, that's my favorite episode. Are you kidding me? I love it. I like the episodes where Frylock is taken out of his comfort zone. Not the ones necessarily where they turn him into a woman. I didn't write that. I don't write the stuff. I just read it. You know, I wasn't a big fan of the one where he got cancer either, and his fries started falling out. He's dying.
It was sad.
But they wrapped it up at the end like nothing happened. At the end, everything was fine. You know, they didn't explain nothing.
It was a magic of television.
Then they killed me off in the finale. They went through like 15 to 20 different scripts. This is Matt Malero and Dave Willis telling me, it's like, every script we showed them, they hated it, except for the one where you die. They liked that one. I was like, figures. But there's an alternate ending to it, if any of y'all have seen it, where Frylock goes to jail for life and joins a white supremacist group. And they keep trying to execute Carl, because Frylock, Shake, and Carl get a hold of the Christopher Lambert Highlander shampoo. So they start killing each other over and over and over again and coming back to life and stuff.
There could be only one.
So Frylock ends up in jail for life. But he lives forever, so whatever. But you know. But I was sworn to secrecy, and I can't really talk about what's coming down the line, but there may be something coming.
Oh!
But you didn't hear that from me. You heard it from the cup.
Yeah.
If anybody tells you anything about anything. But we're on HBO Max
You heard
now.
it from Yoshi. That's who you heard it from.
Master Yoshi, he spilled the beans. So if you guys got HBO Max, I highly recommend that you get it because they got a lot of cool stuff on there anyway. Because Mortal Kombat is premiering like today, I think.
Today, it's out today.
I was like, damn it, I'm being a con. No, I'll check it out though. But yeah, they got all the episodes. Except they won't run Shake Like Me on HBO Max. They won't run. If y'all familiar with that episode, it's the one where Dana, Master Shake, gets bitten by a radioactive black man. And he turns into Jamocha Mocha, Afro Mocha Shake or whatever. So I guess HBO Max thought that was a little too far. But I guess you can see Dickasode on there.
Well, there you go.
You know, that one will work, but you know, I won't even go into that.
Well, I think Shawn, I'm good, you're good. Carey, you're I know this is the first time we've met, but I'm gonna say a pleasure as always because that's the connection. I feel like
well, you know, we go way back.
I know, right? Way back. Into the way back.
Way back. So you guys can find me on social media. You can go to Carey Means _ Voice of Frylock and look at the merch I have. I have merch at my table now. So, you know, come stop by, say hi, get an autograph picture, take a selfie, something like that. I also have a YouTube channel. Always looking for new subscribers. In fact, the video that I shot of the pig guy is going to be on the YouTube thing. That was you? You the pig guy? Well, oinkity, oink, 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 my oinker. And bless your burn ends, sir.
Watch your burn ends.
Indeed.
That's the moral of this panel.
I gotta try some of that barbecue.
It's good.
Are they out there in the parking lot?
It's out there. Yes, it is amazing.
Well, you know, I'm from St. Louis, man. There's a few things we know about barbecue in the Lou. I always tease people in Georgia, because I live in Georgia, right? I've been living there since '93, and I always tease people. I say, you know, when you're going to the store, what you see? You see St. Louis style ribs. You don't see Kansas City style. You don't see Texas style. You don't see mumbo jumbo style. You see St. Louis style, baby. That's what's happening. I just tell people, you go to anybody's backyard and get you some good barbecue in St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? We fire up the grill 24/7, 365. But I can't do it in Atlanta where I live. I live in an apartment. And they told everybody the reason is that you must remove your grills, people. You cannot grill on your patio. I'm sorry, we have facilities way down that hill down there and up the other hill so you can barbecue over there. Which I will never do because I ain't looking at all that stuff out there like that. I mean, it was cool growing up in St. Louis. You go to the park, you know, my father would barbecue everything the day before. We go out to the Forest Park and go to the zoo and make a whole day out of it on the holidays and stuff like that. Oh, I miss those days. My father's gone, my mother's gone. I got some siblings at home. Probably gonna stop in on and bother some of them on the way home from the con. See my homies. My homies. All right. Any other questions before we wrap this thing up?
I think everybody's good. I'm good. Sean's good.
How about Ravenclaw? You got a question down there, Ravenclaw? Yes. I am. Thank you. Thanks for asking. I love the hat. I was a sorting hat once for at a con. They did the sorting hat bit.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the adults didn't like. Actually, this chick that was at the show with me, she was like, the line was right here, and you were right there, because some of the people didn't like what house I put them in. Gryffindor, Ravenclaw. You know, I was like, hey, we can change it. You know, but you know, it was cool. It was fun. It was fun on the bus. I just want to grab a basketball and shoot some hoops for some reason. I have a compelling urge to ruin everybody's displays on their tables. Who threw that ball? He did it. All right. Well, I guess we're done here.
I think we are.
Mic drop.
Yeah, drop.
No.
Guys, everybody.
No. If anybody ever owned a mic, you know you don't want to drop it.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Trust me.
I was trying to be a good host, but
No, I don't do that.
100%. Don't. Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
That's a rule. That's a rule in the house.
Look at you.
Oops. Almost had it. Guys, I want everybody to give a huge round of applause for Carey Means.
That was wonderful, Richard. Thanks again. Another round of applause, everybody. All right, let's move these around a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna snuggle
We're
close
going
to you.
to get a little intimate?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, go ahead. Bring up our next.
All right, so the music's starting to play. So we'd like to bring on our next guest. You know him and love him, Mr. Ming Chen.
Just gonna let that music go a little longer. Yeah, so great.
You earned it.
And I'm stepping out of the shadows.
Yeah, right?
Calvary is here, everybody. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, DJs. Give it up for the DJs, everybody. DJ Netful, DJ Spidey. So great. Thank you, guys. Oh, man, I'm all pumped up now. I know, right? I feel like I just watched
I know,
Endgame.
that's... You ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Should have the big black hole you're coming out of the portal.
Yeah, no mic?
Now there's one.
We only got the two.
Oh, right. I'm gonna get you another one.
Oh,
Here you go, Sean. I held it the last time. It's all you, bud.
That's all you.
Swing around here.
Okay.
We don't wrap them up. Well, Ming, thank you very much for coming to Hannibal, Missouri. I guess
I'm so happy. I love this town. I've literally been here for 24 hours, and I think we did everything.
so. I want to know about your experience this morning.
Okay.
So, Hannibal's known for Mark Twain.
Yes.
One of the biggest things here is the cave.
Yes.
Wait, it's been years since I've been there, but I want to hear about your experience.
I went to the cave. I got like a personalized tour of the Mark Twain cave, and I had no idea Mark Twain loved this cave so much. Like he went down there.
Yeah.
He vandalized it by signing his name on there, and then he wrote so much about it. But I was like this was his back cave.
It's like a staple third grade field trip for everybody within like a 30 or 40 mile radius.
You guys got lucky. We went to the box factory, like where I grew up, and we went to the nuclear power plant. Like I was like Springfield. I got to see like Homer Simpson. Like, yeah, nuclear power is safe. I was like, man, I would have rather have gone to the cave. But Mark Twain, it's literally he would go back there with like a lantern, and it was literally his bat cave. And I thought that's what I took away from it.
So, what was the coolest signature that you saw?
I mean, you guys have been to the cave. There's always that part. It's like, oh, what happens if all the lights go out and you can't see anything? You can't see a hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if this guy just left, that's it. We're dead. And to be in that pitch blackness, even for like a minute, it was pretty.
I've heard that if you stay in that
Pitch blackness for like I think it's like 12 hours or something like that, you'll go permanently blind.
I don't believe that. I don't think that's
the tour guide said it, so it must be true, right?
So wait, why don't they torture people like that? They just put a blindfold around your face and then you go blind in 12 hours?
Do you know that they don't? When was the last time you were tortured?
Okay, well, not...
Season 7 of Comic Book Man?
Yeah, every season of Comic Book Man, I got tortured. Yeah. So, but yeah, the cave was cool. I thought, all right, it's a cave. I've seen caves in other lesser states, like Virginia and New York. But this one was, it was cool. I'm glad I went.
Nice. Yeah, so it's kind of cool to see, like, I think we take it, advantage of it a little bit because we're so close.
Right.
It's kind of like if you live close to the ocean, you're like, well, yeah, I'll go to the ocean sometime.
Yeah.
It's kind of what the cave is for.
Oh, so you don't have a season pass, like, pays for itself in 15 minutes? And, like, you just
little punch card, 10th visit free.
Yeah, can we, it's big enough, though, like, we could throw a ComiCon in there.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
I know, CaveCon.
There's a Merrimack cave where they have, like, a wedding room. It's this big open area where they used to host weddings.
I think your marriage is doomed if you go get married in a cave. Let's be honest. It's like, hey, we got a banquet hall with, shrimp cocktail and steak, or we'll do it in this cave where the water's dripping on you.
Yeah, we'll go deep under, we'll look at all those things, those cool signs and stuff. Yeah, be the best, be the best.
That's not a long marriage, I don't think.
So, this is a good thing. So this is the first Comic-Con you've been to in a while.
In like 14 months, yeah. I was dying. I think I'm sure you guys were dying too. We look forward to this thing, stuff like this every year, and when they didn't happen, it felt like there was this big hole in my life.
So kind of coming in, like the first thing you think of, like you think about going to a baseball game, like
Yes.
the first time of the year, and you're like the smells, the food. What's with a con? What was the very first thing where it's like?
I mean, there's you smell things at a con. The smells. I mean, that's not far off though. The old comic book smell. You ever smell like an old '70s book? That unlocks something in your brain, like just that time period, and just how great great it is. But I miss talking to nerds though. I miss talking to people about all the stuff that I love. Like I did it online, and we record podcasts, so we were able to do that. But to have someone to just geek out in front of somebody at a con, there's nothing like that. So it really isn't.
What was the first person that showed up to your table today? What was that experience?
I mean, it's like riding a bike. I was so happy though. Like I think we talked about Stan Lee for like 20 minutes.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I have photos of me and Stan Lee. So I don't want to brag or anything. I met Stan Lee, but and I'm exploiting his image to make money now. But I think he would have wanted it that way.
I think so.
Yeah.
He was a salesman at heart.
Yeah, I think if I say Excelsior after I make a sale, I think he would. Yeah.
I was listening to I Sell Comics, your podcast that you do with Zapkus, and you were talking about the episode where Stan Lee showed up.
Yes.
I guess could you kind of share that experience a little bit?
Yeah. So if you watch Comic Book Man, season 2, Stan Lee came in, and I was like, oh, it's Stan Lee. It's the guy who created our old childhood. It's a reason. Without Stan Lee, we wouldn't be here. Yeah. We'd be living really dark lives. Remember, like Back to the Future 2, like when Biff went into the alternate timeline and you had Biff's casino, and everyone was like just mad.
Oh my God, that would be our future. That would be where we live. We would live in Biff Tannen's casino. This wouldn't be a con. It would be Biffland.
Yeah, it wouldn't be superheroes. It'd be like American Gladiators.
Yeah, there would be no MCU. There would be, it would be a dark world if Stan Lee didn't exist. And they were like, Stan Lee's coming. I'm like, no. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah, he's gonna come in. You know, he's gonna be on an episode. And I was in disbelief because like Stan Lee to me is like a god. You know, he created everything that we know and love, and for him to come down, he was like, yeah, he's gonna be here for like 4 hours. I shoot an episode with him, and yeah, it was crazy. So when the day that he came, he's like, all right, this is how we're gonna do it. He's gonna come in, like you're gonna be the first one to greet him. I'm like, no, I make first contact. Like, that's awesome. And so he came in the front door, and the first thing I noticed, like the door opens and he's backlit by the sun. It was a really sunny day, and it looked like God coming through the door. Like, oh, it was pretty mind blowing. So I was real nervous. I was like, hey, Mr. Lee, great to meet you. Come on back, meet the other guys. I knew, yeah, it was cool. Back in the day, if you got to meet Stanley at a con, you got maybe, if you were lucky, maybe 2 minutes with him. He had such a huge line, they had to keep it going. He was there for 4 or 5 hours. We ate lunch with him. He really likes egg salad sandwiches and vanilla milkshakes.
You know what? I believe that. That 100% seems like Stan to me.
Odd combination, but makes sense.
Yeah, and I learned from that. I was like, well, that's why he lived so long. Egg salad sandwiches and milkshakes. Every day, that's what he ate.
So is that what you eat every day now?
No. No, I eat worse than that. So I should have learned from him. But yeah, well, we peppered him with like the dumb questions that you would ask Stanley. And God bless him, he answered all of them. And then we were like, hey, would you mind signing like 1 or 2 things? And that stack was like 100.
Yeah.
100. He did not complain once. So
oh, that's awesome.
He signed all of it. So yeah, it's cool. Like I get to tell my grandkids one day that. Stanley, and yeah, they'll think I'm cool.
You probably, I mean, going to all the cons you go to, you probably get to meet like a lot of cool people too. So.
I think that's a bonus. Some of them even watch the show. Like that's mind blowing, which is pretty cool. But
who's been the person that says, "Oh my God, I've watched Comic Book Man"? Who was the oddest person that?
I don't know about oddest, but the one that blew my mind was Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who you know as Negan, or the comedian from The Watchmen, or some of you Grey's Anatomy fans, or Supernatural, yeah. Happy Winchester, but he was smoking a cigarette outside of a con. I was like, do I do it? Do I go say hi to him? Anyone, if you get that chance to say hi to somebody, like if they're whatever, do it. Hi, how's it going? There it is. Yeah, if I'm like outside eating a hot dog, like just go up, just say hi. Like you're not bothering them. That's they know what they're there for. But I was nervous. I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go say hi to him. And I was like, hey man. My name is Ming. I'm on Comic Book Man. It's great to meet you. He was like, dude, I know who you are. I watch Comic Book Man. I'm like, no way. And I thought he was just saying that, just to be nice. But he was like, hey man, you know what episode I really liked? The one where Ralph Macchio came in. He taught you how to wax on, wax off properly. I really loved that episode. I was like, holy crap, he did. He watches it. Yeah, that was cool.
That's awesome.
He was like, hey man, I'm a nerd like you, man. I love all this stuff. It just blew my mind. I was like, you're vegan. You hit Asian guys with bats. Like, you don't compliment them. But yeah, it was cool.
Rich, you have any questions?
Actually, so one thing and to help with your shameless self-promotion, which I feel like I should do, is I think you need to explain what is on your jacket.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This, not
the.
Right.
I mean. Oh wait, it's the same thing.
Let me check my underwear.
So we met because we're all podcasters.
Right.
And anybody out there have a podcast? If not, by the time you leave, we'll show you how to make one.
Yeah, 100%.
Literally.
Come to this table.
Obviously not now. Don't come now. But when we're sitting at the table, just come to the table and be like, how do I start a podcast? And we got you.
Yeah. And you guys listen to podcasts? Yeah. I think the next best thing to listening to a podcast is actually making one yourself. And it's as easy as what we're doing now, talking into a microphone. If you watch Comic Book Man, that in between the scenes, we're sitting around a podcast table, and I always loved that because I always loved that I'm very certain we were the first TV or movie to depict podcasting.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's got to be pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Comic Book Man was
2012 it came out. So that was prior to Tusk. But something I've been doing for 10 years. I got into it because Kevin Smith started podcasting, and then he showed me how much fun it was. I didn't even want to do it. because I was like, well, you're famous already. Of course you would start a show. Why would a guy like me, like who would listen to me? He's like, you don't get it. You can podcast about anything. You will find your audience. And I was like, so I can talk about Star Wars, comic books, and food? He's like, that's a podcast. I'm like, really?
That's
like,
3. That's 3. So then, you could do 3 on that.
Yeah, and I was like, who's gonna listen to that? He's like, people who love Star Wars, comic books, and food. I'm like, oh, all right. And I didn't want to do it by myself, so I grabbed Mike Zapsik, who was my co-host, and we started podcasting. Like, this is so much fun. So years later, we were like, hey, we started getting questions at cons. We were like, hey, we listen to your podcast. How do we make one? And I'm like, I can tell you in 10 minutes how to do it, but I would rather have 2 hours to do it. So we had always dreamed of opening like a school or like a classroom or a studio.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We ended up opening a podcast studio where we rented out by the hour to people who want to start podcasts, and then we showed them how to do it. And then after that, they come back every week and record. And yeah, it's been great because just people who come in, it's like, oh, I'm scared, I've never done this. And then by the end of that, like they record for an hour and they're like, that was awesome, can't wait to come back. It's almost like that universally.
Well, and not only can you do the podcast there we go. Not only can you do the podcast, but you can also stream from that studio. You can stream on Facebook. So you can live stream and record at the same time. Like the studios are built for that. I think you've got 3 studios at the. It's we did it. We Shawn and I drove out to Jersey and did an hour, and it was awesome.
Yeah, we did a brokerage to Red Bank, New Jersey. I don't know how many Kevin Smith fans there are, but went to see all the Kevin Smith stuff. And one of the bucket list things was to record an episode with Ming Chen. So getting to do that.
Yeah, it was as easy as going on our website and booking an hour. And me and Mike showed up, and we recorded with you guys.
Yeah, it was great.
Which was great. And we're fellow nerds, so that it flew by. We had a great time. And I think it was a pretty great episode. Like, I don't want to brag or anything, but the studio is called the Shared Universe. So that's now it's fun to self-promote.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's fun to market yourself. It's awesome. So that's what I've been doing during this whole pandemic when there were no conventions. I've been helping other people podcast, and even when we couldn't get anyone in the studio, we did it all online. And it was really, it saved my sanity. In a world where you weren't allowed to leave your house and not talk to other people or be around other people, I was like, well, yeah, podcasting daily really kept me sane for sure.
Yeah, I feel like creating yourself is amazing, but helping others to create is even better. Like getting to see somebody fulfill their art.
But that's all steeped in all this. When I would discover like a new comic book, I was like, oh man, I just read this book about 4 turtles who are ninjas, and they go out and they fight. Yeah, they fight this dude in like armor, and they live in the sewer. You got to read this. Like I remember that I introduced a lot of my friends to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the late '80s. That's what it feels like, because you read something like that, it's cool. Yeah. It's gonna blow up. So then you tell all your friends about it, but they remember you as the guy who was like, oh yeah, Ming told me about TMNT or the X-Men or whatever. So to me, that's like what podcasting is too. Like podcasting is so cool that you want to tell everybody else about it, and then they'll get into it, and then they're like, hey, that's the guy that helped me out, that started me. So it's fun.
It's super addicting. I mean, the first time you tell somebody about a podcast, they're definitely like, well, what is a podcast?
Yeah.
And you explain it, you find 1 or 2, and then it's just like almost like a drug. You just fall into it, and you're listening to like 60 different podcasts.
Yeah, the difference is anybody can do this. Like you could be a couple of nerds in Hannibal and start your own show, and it could blow up. You never know, and you never know. You're in a private plane jetting off to San Diego ComiCon or something. That didn't happen to me, but it could.
Yeah, I think our invitation got lost this year. Maybe next year. Yeah.
But I mean, I think the best thing that happened to me was when they came up with the idea for Comic Book Men. It was Kevin's idea. It was like, hey, let's make this like a Pawn Stars, that TV show Pawn Stars, but in a comic book shop. And they're like, well, who are we going to get to be on there? And Kevin's like, well, I got 4 guys, and they're pretty funny. And the network's like, well, how funny are they? And Kevin was like, here, listen to their podcasts. You'll see within a couple episodes that these guys are funny. This guy with a beard is grumpy, he hates everything. This guy Walt, the manager, he's real good at negotiating. He loves making money for the store. This guy Mike knows a lot about comic books. This guy Ming, they just make fun of him. But he's a good guy. And they heard our interactions on a podcast. They're like, oh, it's like, are these guys really like how they're on the podcast? And Kevin's like, yeah, it's real. It's not scripted or anything. They're like, well, I think this might work. So it really kind of reinforced that they were making a good decision making Comic Book Man. So, and then while we were shooting Comic Book Man, I think podcasting was kind of like training. So we learned not to talk over each other. We learned, I guess, timing and just keeping a good flow. And it was really a very unintentional way of kind of training yourself for reality TV. We weren't doing it to be good at doing stuff in reality. It just happened. But it really, the benefits of podcasting are, there's so many that, I think everybody should start.
Because I know with Comic Book Men, you didn't really do it how typical reality TV shows are done, right?
No, not at all.
Because they usually give you kind of a script, and it's kind of reality, but not. But you guys are really just thrown into a situation and kind of just were yourselves.
Yeah. It's like, hey, like Uhura's, Nichelle Nichols is gonna come in and she needs a Mego figure of herself. It's like, oh, whoa, that sounds cool. Yeah, I said, all right, go be funny. That's pretty much it. So, yeah. Or, like Amazing Fantasy 15 is coming in today. Probably not going to have enough money to buy it, but let's see what this guy's story is. How he got it and why he's selling it and all that. So, and then you got Brian coming in with a Sharpie. He's like, oh, you forgot to sign it, and we're like, we're all flipping out because we thought he might be dumb enough to try to sign Amazing Fantasy 15. So.
I know the first 2 seasons, like Walt was really hesitant to buy stuff, but it seems like he got a little more open to buying things.
Well, we didn't buy stuff in the first season because there was no budget. They didn't give him a budget to buy anything, and he didn't want to actually buy it for the store and get stuck with it. Like his business mind was like, I don't want this because it might take me too long to sell it. So so that first season, he didn't buy anything. In the second season, they're like, the network was like, you guys gotta start buying stuff because this isn't, They're like, why are you buying anything? It's like, Walt doesn't want to spend the money. The manager, he's doing his job. He's trying to keep the store alive. Like, okay, we'll give you a little budget to buy stuff.
I know you guys are also in a new recording area.
We're growing. Well, the comic book store that you see on the show, we recently moved it a block down the street. The landlord was being a pain in the butt. So we got a new space, which was cool. Is Kevin basically got a clean slate. He's like, do whatever you want. So he rebuilt the Quick Stop facade from Clerks in the back, which was awesome. The Buddy Christ from Dogma is on. It's like elevated, and they got a church pew and a kneeler. So it's a religious experience. And it just looks really, really cool in there. But we were like, wait a minute, this would be cool to podcast in. Yeah. So recently we've been setting up a table, we've been setting up our podcast gear, we've been live streaming from the store. And it looks really, really cool. So next time you guys come back, we could potentially podcast from the comic book shop.
It's definitely on our list to get back out there.
Yeah.
Especially since it moved to your new studios. I think what else is there? There's the SmodCo that's going up too.
Yeah. Kevin's building a live podcast theater, so it's going to be very much like this, where podcasters such as yourself can come and perform live and sell tickets. You could sell tickets to Language of Bromance.
Yeah, I'd love to push for like a Why Not podcast festival.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the world of podcasting is blowing up. So it's making me happy because we love it. We've been doing this for a long time, and we want to introduce it to everybody else too. So absolutely, for sure.
Well, I think. Do you have more questions, Richard?
I'm good. I think the moral here is start a podcast, people.
Yeah, for sure.
Go make one.
Yeah, I mean, like when I get home on this week, I'm going to talk about my experiences in Hannibal. So
wait a minute, all of them?
All of them. Yes. You're not immune. But that's the other thing on podcasting. There's no rules. You don't have to hold back. You can tell these stories. So
that's true.
Yeah. I mean, it happened. You're fair. The things we pulled last night. It's fair game.
No, you say we, as in, I mean, Don't laugh. Don't let. Oh, wait, you got texts. You got pictures sent to you. Damn it. Okay.
Listen, I was sent out here to enjoy the beautiful city of Hannibal, and I'm doing it in every aspect.
In every aspect.
Yes. Yeah, the food, the culture. I went to the cave, then I went to Old Milt.
You did.
And that's part of the culture.
See, you're all laughing because you know. You know.
You were there too,
I
so
was
don't.
there.
Yeah.
Is that the interpretive dance studio I've been hearing about?
Yes.
There is dance there, yes.
Yes.
There's dance, yeah. But no, truly, I've been here literally like 24 hours. I've fallen in love with this town. So
It's America's hometown.
Yeah.
That's what the sign says.
and now there's there's been a ComiCon 2 years running here like that. How could it get even better? You know, it's really awesome here. So it's cool, and everybody came out. It's so much fun, man. It's so great here.
It is. It's awesome. So I guess at this point, does anybody have questions?
Yeah, you can ask anything.
Not that one.
I mean, first of all, I want to plug all the sponsors, the great sponsors that have supported this convention. I don't have a program here, but Debs can shout them all out. The Best Western by the river for sure. I think the Comfort Inn. Yes. Pepsi, yes. The local Pepsi distributor.
The barbecue.
The Rebel Pig Barbecue. Yeah. I mean, listen, these things cost money to put on, so the more sponsors, the better. But they're getting attention too. It's not a one-way street. So, but I do want to give a shout out to Tipsy Bricks right down the street from the Best Western. Really great barbecue. Shout out to Lisa who took care of us last night. And then Mama over at Old Mills. She really rolled out. The I guess their orange is her color there. She really rolled out the orange carpet for us, for sure. And we had a great time.
It was a good time. I promise. It was a good time. It was a very well-behaved time. Jesse can attest to that. It was a very well-behaved time. Don't look at me like that. It was fine. It was fine. I was fine. My wife was there, so I was obviously well-behaved.
You were not that well-behaved.
Nor was she.
But
holy crap! There's a guy in a Jason Bob Strike Back shirt. Yeah, all right. Well done. He didn't see me. He's not here now. But yeah, big shout out to Debs Load for sure for putting all this together. This just proves there are nerds everywhere. People who love pop culture and comics everywhere. And we needed this con in Hannibal, and she did it. Her team did it. The amount of work that goes into these things is incredible. So, and thank you guys. I know you guys stepped up and volunteered to moderate the panel. So
we did. It was you. It was all you. This is what happens. This is what podcasting can lead to. You can sit on a stage with somebody that you really, really like and like hanging out with and like talking to. Like that's a thing it can lead to. So again, circling back to the moral of the story, start a podcast.
Yeah, only good things can happen. Like I'm not telling you that you will get a TV show if you podcast, but I can't tell you that it won't happen.
Wait, what?
That's year 10. You got 3 more years.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep going for sure. But yeah, that's what we did last night. We went to Tipsy Bricks. We went to Old Milts. We forgot to eat dinner, so I ordered pizzas for the whole bar at one point from
Palermo's.
Palermo's.
Yeah, we gave
Palermo some love. They got a very large pizza order last night.
Yes.
Yeah, it hit the spot though. Palermo, big shout out. Palermo's, if you're listening, sponsor the con next year. I'm giving you free promotion. Sponsor the convention next year.
Yeah. So, does anybody else have any other questions for Ming Chen?
Anything about the show? Anything really? Yes.
Something else.
Was that Jedi business?
It was secret Jedi business.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I guess the one big question now is will they bring the show back? And I don't know because they don't tell me these things. I don't even know where we got canceled.
Yeah.
I thought we were doing great.
Comic Book Man.
Yes.
The ratings were still doing great.
They're pretty good. They're solid.
Odd times that they're playing the show.
Beyond my control, why they played at midnight and 1 o'clock. They said that's when all the stoners would watch. So.
But it's inexpensive. I guess getting into the business aspect.
Yes.
Is that something you guys could take and start on your own?
No. So, a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just put it on YouTube? Like, like it would be that easy. But like the show, we had like a 20-person behind the scenes crew, like producers and accounting and all this stuff. And I was hearing like each episode was, I don't know, like it was like $100,000 a night, which in TV money is not a lot of money. It's like Walking Dead, each episode, it's like $3-4 million. It was like a movie. So compared to that, we were very cheap. But yeah, so I don't know. Does anybody watch the TV show Impractical Jokers here? Anyone? Q, Sal? So we've been friends with Q and Sal I've been friends with them for like 20 years. Murr and Joe, I've known them for like 15 years. So I think all those guys just signed this big, huge development deal with Warner Brothers, I think. Okay. And Q was like, you've heard of the WB? So Q was like, hey, when I get into those meetings, I want to pitch the Return to Comic Book Man. And I was like, dude, if anybody could do it, he's pretty. That show's big, huge right now. They just had a movie. Yeah. He's a person of influence, so I don't know where that could go, but I mean, if there's anyone who could do it, it would be Brian Q. Quinn for sure.
Yeah, we should get that on like HBO Max or something like that.
We were talking about this. Could you imagine if we got an HBO Max? That means no restrictions, right?
Oh, yeah, great point.
So, because Brian Johnson, like 85 to 90% of the things he would say while we were shooting, they had to cut because it was too dirty for basic cable. On HBO, yeah, it could be told like Deadwood. He would be like Swearingen Deadwood. Like he would just he'd say anything. I actually think it would make the show better. Like him, like he was himself for sure, making fun of me and cracking jokes. But imagine him with no rules. Yeah. I think he's even funnier when he's off the rails. So I think it'd be pretty cool. Yeah. And Kevin too. Kevin likes to swear. Yeah, I think it'd be cool if we were like on an HBO kind of. I don't know how many kids could watch that. Maybe they could make like a PG-13 version. Yeah.
Maybe not like a hard R, but something like that.
Right.
Let them watch it. It's fine.
I mean, to be fair, I watched The Last Boy Scout way too young.
What from that movie traumatized you besides Marlon Wayans?
Well, there's the strip club part, and then there's the dude that's running the football field.
Okay.
So those are pretty rough.
I'm in the firm belief that kids should watch, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at 5. That's good point, right? Desensitization goes a long way, for sure. Tom Cook, everybody. Tom Cook, everybody.
Caught in the limelight.
All right, well, I guess if there are no more questions, Ming, do you have anything else you want to promote or say before you...
Ask me about podcasting. I'll be here all weekend. Post party at Old Mills tonight, I guess.
Yeah.
Here we go.
But no, thank you for the warm welcome, Hannibal and Quincy and all the surrounding areas. This is what I love about going to conventions. That you get to go to places that you probably ordinarily wouldn't go to, and then you find out how cool that place is. So, yeah. So thank you guys for coming out, for sure, for supporting this. And I hope this convention has a long life. And this is so much fun. Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys.
Love you too, man. Everybody, Ming Chen.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Well, Richard, there it was. It was us on stage with some big names, some fun conversations, some great conversations. So I want to know
I had a flashback, and now I feel a little drunk.
Yeah, you were getting a little sloppy there for a minute, but I want to know some of Richard's closing thoughts on day one of Big River ComiCon.
I think, you know what? Honestly, I think like about 15 minutes into that first Q&A, like the nervousness kind of shook off, and that was like, you know what? Just like be here and have a good time and meet and just, meet people and hang out and have an awesome time. And it really kind of helped knock the cobwebs out, and it felt really, really good. So I guess to sum things up, to sum up day one is the Stella got her groove back of a comic convention. Like how to just like be a person,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like how to be a person with other persons.
Get the people again.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. It was a great time. I'm excited for everybody to listen to day 2 that's coming up. But until then, I'll do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're at languageofbrones.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbrones.com. And we'd like to thank our patrons, as always, Wendy and Aaron.
You guys better come next year.
Ooh, yeah. Big River Comic Con 2022.
Yeah.
Which we've got, so kind of looking into the future, we should have Deb on in a couple episodes to talk about running a con, and maybe even kind of talking about next year's Comic Con. So you guys will be prepared to hear about that.
Ooh, there's the tease.
Yeah. All right, Richard. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
I'm good, sir.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Sean.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a
why not. It's like, hey, let's go out 3 nights in a row. Don't say why.
Oh,
say why not.
Why not? I did. I literally did. I was like, why not?